Interviews, there's some preparation, some mental, because I would say 98, if not 100% of this is psychological. Now, there are some genetics involved. There may be some physical things involved with some stutterers. But even if it is physical, there is a huge percentage of this thing that's psychological. And so, whether it's physical or not, doesn't matter. What matters is that you can get better. Even if it's a little better, that's better than nothing, right? So a lot of this is psychological. So when you're going into an interview, one of the situations that you might find is that, first of all, you're nervous for a couple of reasons. We're all nervous when we go into an interview, right? And so this nervousness exacerbates the problem of stuttering. A second thing is that you're nervous about stuttering. You're not just nervous about the interview. That's compounded by the fact that you're nervous that you're going to stutter, which we cover this, see, in the How to Stop Stuttering and Start Speaking program, this kind of thought that's in your subconscious that's a part of your self-concept that says that you're a stutterer. What we're doing in the program is we're transforming that thought. We're transitioning that thought so that you no longer see yourself as a stutterer. You may still stutter. Stuttering is a behavior, but it's not who you are. You're no longer a stutterer. You're a great speaker, right? And you're transitioning from stuttering to speaking, all right? So for the interview, first thing that you need to do is to visualize the interview. Walk through the interview in your head from the time you go shake the person's hand, you go in, maybe it's a panel of people, maybe it's one or two people. You visualize the whole interview, you visualize and you think about the questions that you're going to be asked, and you think about your responses and how you're going to respond smoothly and easily, and it's going to flow. And you just go over that over and over until you get sick and tired of it. You rehearse it mentally, right? You continue to rehearse it. You anticipate questions. So you're doing two things. One, you're preparing for the interview, which everyone needs to do, but you're also sending your mind, your subconscious or your unconscious mind, a message through this rehearsal and these visualizations. You're sending it a message and you're telling it that you are actually going to be quite successful in this interview. And the thing with our subconscious mind is that it doesn't necessarily know the difference between something that's real or something that's imagined. I'm sure some of you have heard this before, and it's not just something I'm repeating, it's actually true. If you visualize something and you rehearse it and you practice it, that's a real experience for you. So your subconscious mind says you were successful at this, so you can be successful again, right? So that's what happens. So you want to rehearse it, you want to visualize, you want to go over it, which will prepare you. It'll lower your anxiety somewhat, and it will give you more confidence. And chances are, sure, you probably are going to stutter. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, but you'll be more prepared, right? More prepared, more confident, less stress, less anxiety. More likely, you're not going to stutter, you're not going to stutter as bad. The other thing is that, and this is something that I did when I had to do my training, when I used to speak on the phone, and something that I've done in classes and everything. To release some of the pressure, just tell the interviewer that sometimes you get stuck on some words, sometimes you stutter. Don't say I'm a stutterer, just sometimes I stutter. And so if I get a little stuck or something, that's the reason. That right there puts you at ease. It lets the other person know, hey, this person's honest about this situation, and they really respect you for it, and it takes the pressure off. Because a lot of times with stutterers or people who stutter is that a part of the problem is this trying to hide the stuttering. And some people say, I'm not going to hide, I'm just going to let it flow, let it go. And so in that situation, then it can become embarrassing. And sometimes people say, well, I'm not even going to get embarrassed about that. And that's fine too. But a part of the problem is that a lot of us want to hide it, right? We don't want to stammering and start biting our tongues or blinking our eyes and stuff. We just want to try to speak as normally as possible. So what you do is you just put the person and put yourself at ease. Sometimes I stutter, right? That helps a lot. The next thing you do is take time. Now, listen to this. Take time, pause, and think about what you're going to say. Now, one of the things I did is I would pause and think before I spoke. And I did this for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't want to stammer, so my pause would give me time to relax and use a primer word to get the speech flowing. Second, the other person never knew that I was stuttering. They thought I was thinking. They thought I was really smart and a brilliant and a deep thinker, because I'd be, when really I knew the answer. I didn't want to stutter. So, give me a second on that, right? So I'm getting myself prepared, and then I would try to prime in with another word. Okay, so, and then I would answer, and then go ahead and start speaking. So I stopped, I relaxed, I paused, and then I allowed myself to start speak. So just relax, just relax. So let's just review that with interviews. Rehearse it, visualize it, and then actually rehearse out loud going through that interview successfully. Rehearse it, practice it. Tell the interviewer that you stutter sometimes. Just go ahead and tell them. That's okay. It's not going to stop you from getting the job. Just tell them that sometimes you stutter. Takes the pressure off. And then take your time, pause, think before you're speaking, and you'll look smart. You will be smart, and it gives you time to just relax and get in. Don't feel like you have to jump and respond immediately after the person says something, because you really don't. Now, if you take too long, then the person's going to wonder, did you go to sleep? Are you still there? So what you want to do is pause, and you'll learn how to pause for shorter periods of time, but that's a technique. Now, you may have some other techniques. Feel free to share them. This is just what I did. So your confidence is raised because you've prepared for the interview. You've gone over it in your mind. You feel confident when you go in, and this is easier said than done, but you kind of have to do it. Just don't think of yourself as a stutter. Don't think that you're going to stutter. You've rehearsed it. You're going to go in and you're going to do well. So let's take a look then at our next situation, one-on-one conversations.